You might be smiling at a sociopath right now without even knowing it. They don't look like the characters portrayed in movies. No blood, no knives, but instead, charm, intelligence, and a chilling ability to manipulate emotions. They exist in close relationships, at the workplace, even within your own family. That's why you need to watch this video to the end, to recognize the 5 clearest warning signs that could help you escape their traps before it's too late. Don't forget to follow and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any content that helps protect yourself and your loved ones. They are charming, intelligent, and make you feel special until you realize you're completely under their control. A sociopath isn't what you might typically imagine. They don't have to be criminals or murderers to cause serious harm. In fact, many people with antisocial personality traits live, work, and interact with society in seemingly normal ways. They might be the colleague who slowly chips away at your confidence, the friend who always puts you in difficult situations, the partner who makes you doubt yourself, or worse, the family member who makes you live under pressure without being able to name the pain. The first red flag: everything moves too fast, unnaturally fast. They appear like a breeze in the desert, listening to you, understanding you, making you believe they're the only one who truly gets you. In friendships, they're the constant companion. In love, they're the ideal partner you've dreamed of. But the truth is, no one can know you that deeply after just a few days or a couple of conversations. When things progress too fast, it's not fate. It's a calculated tactic aimed directly at your emotional needs. This is a technique called love bombing. They overwhelm you with attention, compliments, little gifts, and thoughtful gestures. But their real goal is emotional dependence. And once you trust them deeply enough, they slowly remove the mask, bit by bit, until you realize the person you once felt closest to is the one manipulating you the most. Second red flag: they're always the victim, and you're the one at fault. After the sweet beginning, the sociopath starts to twist reality. Whenever something goes wrong, they always blame someone else. If you hurt their feelings, it's because you didn't understand them. If they get angry, it's because you didn't care enough. If they betray you, it's because you pushed them away. Their stories always paint them as the victim. They may speak about being betrayed, hurt, or abused in the past, making you feel pity, so you'll forgive the repeated disrespectful behavior. They never take responsibility. They manipulate your emotions so you'll do it for them. This is a subtle manipulation known as gaslighting. They make you question your memory, your feelings, even your sanity. You start wondering, am I too sensitive? Maybe I really was wrong? Should I hold back more to avoid upsetting them? When these questions echo in your head often enough, it means they're already controlling you. Third red flag: they don't feel remorse, and they keep doing it again and again. In a normal relationship, people make mistakes, apologize, and try to change. But with a sociopath, apologies aren't about remorse. They're just a tool to maintain control. They might apologize sincerely, even cry or promise to change, but it's all part of the cycle. And once you forgive them, they repeat the same behaviors, only worse. You shouldn't judge someone by their words, but by their actions after they've said, sorry. Sociopaths don't learn from mistakes because they don't truly believe they did anything wrong. What they do learn is how to avoid consequences, and how to make others bear them instead. Fourth red flag: they isolate you from the people closest to you. Gradually, you'll find yourself sharing less with your family and friends, not because you want to, but because you fear they won't understand. Or worse, you fear your partner will get upset if you talk to someone else. A sociopath is skilled at making you feel like they are the only one who understands you. They'll say your friends are jealous, your family is manipulating you, and that only they truly love you. It's all part of a strategy to cut you off from your support system, so when they manipulate you, no one else can intervene. They want you to lose your mirrors, the people who could help you see the truth. And once they're all you have left, not only do you become more vulnerable, you also begin to doubt yourself. Which is exactly what they want. Fifth red flag: you're no longer yourself. This may be the clearest and most painful sign. You're no longer the confident, joyful, peaceful person you once were. You live in a state of hypervigilance, exhaustion, and stress, constantly trying to please someone just to avoid conflict. You feel unheard and disrespected. But you stay, because you hope they'll change. You think if you try harder, love more, endure more, things will get better. But what you don't realize is, you're slowly losing yourself just to hold on to someone who was never truly yours. When you start staying silent out of fear instead of seeking peace, that's not love, it's control. A sociopath doesn't need fists to hurt you. They use words, silence, emotional distance, and indifference as weapons. You might not even realize it, but they know exactly what wounds you the most, and they strike right there. Not by accident, but by design. If you're emotionally sensitive and have a kind heart, you are the perfect target for them. They don't seek out the weak. They go after the strong who are still compassionate and forgiving. They will push you to your limits, then come back with apologies, making you feel like you're the only one who can heal them. And you believe it again, forgive again. A cycle that keeps repeating, except each time you lose a little more trust in yourself. When you begin to censor your own feelings and hide your true thoughts just to keep the peace, you're living in an invisible cage they've built around you. That's not compromise, it's emotional manipulation. And the scariest part is not just being with someone toxic, it's that you've become so accustomed to their toxicity, you start to see it as normal. A sociopath doesn't only manipulate individuals, they're also skilled at manipulating entire groups. They can appear incredibly charming in public. Friends, coworkers, neighbors, everyone thinks they're wonderful, witty, full of ideals. But you know the truth. You know the cruel words spoken behind closed doors. You know the cold indifference when you're in pain. You know the feeling of being softly betrayed, the kind of betrayal no one else sees, but that wounds you deeply. That's what makes it so hard to speak out. Because you're afraid no one will believe you. They've stripped away your sense of safety in your own voice. This is a form of social control. You don't dare speak the truth because you know the world around you is already on their side. Not because they're good, but because they're good at playing good. And at this point, you start to ask yourself, am I just being too sensitive? Or am I really the one with the problem? That's the final blow, making you doubt your own instincts. When you no longer trust your real feelings, you become their puppet. You don't need to be locked in a room to lose your freedom. All it takes is losing faith in yourself, and you'll hold the key and lock the door on your own. That's the most dangerous moment. But the most important thing you need to remember is, you are not crazy. And you are not alone. Millions of people have gone through this. They too were enchanted, pulled into a sweet dream that turned out to be a nightmare. You are not weak for trusting, you're human. Trust is not a flaw. Exploiting trust is. And that fault does not belong to you. The question now is no longer, will they change? But, how much more of yourself are you willing to lose while waiting for them to? The journey to healing is not easy. But it begins with one clear choice, to stop letting yourself be manipulated, even one more time. You don't need to have all the answers right now. You just need to start with one thing. Believe that the unease you feel inside is real. And you have the right to walk away from it. A sociopath, in many cases, is not the cold-blooded killer depicted in movies. They are more subtle, more dangerous, and they exist in everyday life behind an all-too-perfect facade. From a psychological perspective, this group of people falls under the spectrum of Antisocial Personality Disorder, ASPD. Unlike the extreme violent image often imagined by the public, many individuals with ASPD don't break the law, but they systematically and coldly violate moral standards, trust, and others' emotional safety. They don't feel guilt. They don't feel remorse. The only things they care about are control and victory. They see relationships as a chessboard, and others, including you, as pawns. People with antisocial personality disorder typically exhibit three core traits: lack of empathy, lack of remorse, and manipulation. This trio destroys emotional well-being in a silent yet powerful way. Lack of empathy. They don't consider others' suffering as serious. In their eyes, your pain is your problem. They may pretend to empathize in order to gain your trust, but it's just a tactic, not a genuine emotion. Lack of remorse. After hurting you, they don't feel guilt, don't reflect on their actions, and certainly don't regret them. They may apologize, but it's strategy, not redemption. Manipulation. This is their ultimate weapon. They plant doubt, distort reality, and attack others' reputations behind closed doors, all to maintain control and power. One of the most insidious tactics of sociopaths is gaslighting, psychological manipulation that makes the victim doubt their own sanity. You remember seeing them text someone else, but they say you're imagining things. You sense their coldness and detachment, but they tell you that you're too sensitive. Over time, you stop trusting your own feelings. You begin to apologize for things you didn't do wrong. You keep asking yourself, maybe I'm the problem? That's when they've taken control of your mind. But what's even scarier is the social reinforcement around them. Sociopaths are often masters at building a likable public image. They can be charming, well-liked, humorous, and hold respected social positions. That's why many victims feel trapped. No one believes them, and people even turn against them, saying things like, "He's such a nice guy." When you resist, they play the victim. When you go no contact, they say you're crazy, dramatic, or holding grudges. This role reversal is a classic emotional manipulation tactic, and it works largely because society lacks basic awareness of well-disguised personality disorders. Don't think they don't know what they're doing. They do, and that's exactly why they're so dangerous. They know you have compassion. They know you want to fix things. They know you soften when you hear an apology. And they will use all of that to keep you close, not out of love, but because your submission feeds their distorted ego. You might be living with a sociopath, and if you feel like you're being drained every single day, then you're probably right. If you realize that you are living in a manipulative relationship like this, never think that you cannot escape. Remember, you have the right to live a life of freedom without being manipulated or controlled by anyone. To break free from sociopaths, you must have trust in yourself, be determined to cut off the toxic relationship, and seek support from those who truly love and respect you. And most importantly, always remember that no true love is built on manipulation and control. A healthy relationship is based on respect, understanding, and personal freedom. Protect yourself before it's too late. Don't let anyone break you from the inside. You deserve to be loved and to live a free life, not to be a victim in the hands of a sociopath.